everyone, welcome to my home. We're in my sunroom. It's sunny out today, so it's warmed up in here, really nice. So first thing, I just wanted to say that I've come up with a name for my YouTube channel, and it's going to be I Don't Do Perfect. And mostly as I was growing up and most of my life, I've always kind of been a perfectionist when it comes to some things. And so I found that life is just so much more fun when you don't have to be perfect with everything. Like when I was a teenager, I thought that life wasn't worth living unless I could achieve Farrah Fawcett hair. And then I missed out with fun on the beach and at pool parties and stuff because I couldn't get my hair wet, because then it was all ruined then. My happiness was ruined if I, didn't have perfection in my life. So anyway, so that's the name of my YouTube channel. And so we're gonna plant seeds today for the indoor herb garden. So, and then I just wanted to say that this really isn't meant to be a tutorial, because I don't really know what I'm doing exactly, but I don't even know if this is something that you want to try, but if you were interested in learning more about it, other than what, if you have other questions that I don't cover here, then you could go to, the YouTube channel is called Garden Answer, and the name of that YouTube is Planting Herb Seeds plus Herb Growing Tips. So there it is right there. Can you get a close-up, Addie? So if you wanted to look that up and, you seriously wanted to, because I don't know if this is going to make sense here. But anyway, so we're going to plant basil, thyme, parsley, cilantro, and dill. And I love dill. Last summer I grew dill, and it got really big, and it just smelled so good. And then when it started to get little delicate white flowers on it, and if this does well, then I'm going to put some more out in my outdoor herb garden. And then also we're going to do catnip, because my cat loves catnip, and she needs some herbs too. So I'm going to try a new product, and it's a self-watering seed starter tray. And we're not going to use all of the pieces yet. What we just mostly need today is the cells that we're going to plant them in, and then a cover. Cover is really important because seeds cannot dry out when they're germinating. When they're going through the germination process, they have to stay moist. They can't be wet and soggy, but they have to be moist, or they won't sprout. They'll die. So this part's important. This part is, and this is the self-watering part of it. You get this wet, and then it wicks up the water and keeps the soil moist, because it sits on right. This sits right on here, and then it wicks up the water. So, but we don't need that yet. So I'm going to set that aside. But and then another important thing is to have success. The best thing to use is seed starting mix. It's different than potting soil because it's really light and fluffy, and so the roots are able to get down in there and easily grow. So you start with the seed starting, and then at some point, which I'm not sure exactly when they need to be transplanted, but I'll put them in potting soil. But for now, we're going to start with seed starting mix. And I wanted to show you these. So I planted these catnip, and I've always been able to get seeds to germinate, but for some reason I don't do well once they germinate. They need something, and I don't know what it is, because these I planted quite a while ago, and they're just kind of stuck. It's like they're not thriving. So hopefully we'll just see how this goes, and I'm just gonna research it more and see when I need to, because this is still in the seed starting mix. I think maybe part of the problem is it needs to be moved up to the regular potting soil, and it might need fertilizer. I don't know, but I'm still learning too. But anyway, so I'm probably gonna make a mess here, and then this. Oh, I think it's a little bit too wet. I'm gonna kind of squeeze some of that out because you don't want it that wet. Okay, so then I'll have to do each one, and this part is gonna be messy, but hopefully not too boring. Maybe Abby, you can speed it up.
Yeah, I'll try some editing.
Okay.
I might need your help though.
You know what? I think I'm gonna add in some dry. Feels like that. We're gonna try that.
Your hands are so messy.
I know. That's okay. I can wash them.
Once we get this editing done, we might be able to zoom it up quicker. All the viewers who are watching.
Yeah. I just like do it in fast motion.
Sorry, this is taking so long. We haven't got the editing down yet.
Yeah. But we can learn, right? That did help. So that's about right. Okay. So then we'll just fill these up.
And are you gonna tell the viewers how you got these all moisturized? How much dirt or water you needed?
No. Well, you know, I just dumped that in the bowl and added some water and started stirring, and then I put in too much water, but we rectified that. I'm just gonna kind of tap it down. I think Laura said to tap it down a little bit. Okay, now I've got these hands. Will you be able to pause and then restart?
Probably.
Okay, well. Okay, I'm back. My hands are clean, and so now we're gonna plant. And I'm actually not sure how deep to plant them. Oh, right here. 1/4 of an inch deep, 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so that's not very deep at all. And 1/4. And what about these? Hopefully that part's not been ripped off.
And
1/8. Okay, so those we'll do last. We're gonna. Oh, I don't have any labels. Well, we'll have to. That's okay. All right. So this here is the deal, and I'm gonna do these 1/4 of an inch deep, which. Addie, what you doing?
just keep those things if you want.
Okay.
About that deep.
Is that? Oh, okay. All right. So there goes the deal. Gonna plant 4 or 5 went in there. I really only wanted to do 2 or 3, but that's okay. So that's the deal. And then we'll do parsley. Can you remember what goes where? I don't think I can. I don't have labels. Oh well.
I don't think I can remember. But it's fine.
Okay.
And there we go. We just put this in.
That's the deal. I mean the parsley.
And this is dill and that's parsley.
Mm-hmm. Once they come up, I'll be able to tell. Once they mature. Okay, we've got some basil here. I think I'm doing too many seeds, but we can always thin it. And then cilantro. Oh, these are big. There's the cilantro, also known as coriander. Well, coriander's the actual seed. Okay, so I got, those were easier because they're bigger, so they were easier to handle. And so I've got 3 in each of those. And then the the catnip. We'll put the catnip on the end. These seeds are tiny.
Now let's give the viewers a view of that.
Okay.
Those are the catnip seeds. Very tiny.
Okay, so there's catnip. Just barely cover those. And then the thyme.
Where are we going to put the thyme, Miss Grandma?
We are going to put it... Oh, these are even tinier.
Oh gosh, they're even tinier than the catnip?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get
They're going to go here.
Let's get a view of that.
See how little they are?
Oh gosh, they're tiny.
That's the thyme. The tiny thyme. Okay, so they're planted. Oh, and then I'm just going to kind of settle them in with some water.
We'd highly suggest a spray bottle.
Yeah, because if you like put it under a sink faucet, then that might dislodge everything. Okay, and then we'll cover it up. And then this is this here is a heat mat. And it's not necessary, but it does help because it keeps the seeds at the optimal temperature. They want to be warm, but not hot. But it just kind of helps speed up the process, but it's not necessary. You don't have to have a heat mat. And I'm going to put them under a grow light. So we'll go, okay, I will set that there for a minute. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to put it under a grow light. Okay. And I'll go get that dome. All right, and we'll see what happens, and I will keep you posted. And then I wanted to, if you want to come back in my sunroom, I wanted to show you, this is an example of how I just don't do perfect. So last spring I planted a hydrangea, and it was early spring, but I thought it was warm enough, and so I planted it, and then a couple of days later we got a hard frost, and I went out there, and it was, Addie, can you point it? So I planted it too early, and after the frost I went out there, and the leaves were black, they were limp, and I thought it was dead. So I went and bought another plant to replace it, and got that. I waited a couple weeks and got it planted, but I thought, well, maybe it's not dead. So I put it in this pot, and it did really well. It did come back. All of the leaves, I just pruned everything that was dead, and then just kept it watered and put it in part shade and part sun. And it came back. It was really pretty, a big bushy. It didn't have any flowers. It never flowered again, but it was really nice. And then I brought it in for the winter, and then the leaves were starting to fall off, so I just pruned it all back. And then you can see, Addie, if you get in close here, you can see that there's new growth down here where there's going to be some new branches. So we had technical difficulties because Addie ran out of screen time. She's got parental controls on her iPad, but she asked Mom for some more time, so we're rolling again. So I wanted to, and then I was talking about my hydrangea. So, but anyway, it looks like it's coming back this year, and I'll keep you posted if it, how it does, and if it gets blooms on it this year. So, but I wanted to show you my latest quilt project that I'm working on. I got this panel here, the horse, a couple years ago. I saw this at a quilt shop, and I thought of my stepmom, Wilma. She loves horses, and so I decided, okay, I'm gonna start working on this and get a quilt done for her. So I've got the top all done. I pieced this part around the horses, and next step is I need to quilt it together because you got a top and then the batting and the back, and so you have to quilt them together so things don't shift as you wash it and use it. You can either tie a quilt like that one, but this one I'm doing some machine quilting. You can see that in the sky part here I've done some wavy lines, but I need to quilt all around it still. And then after that, I'll bind it. But I was going to put some more colorful blocks up here to finish it, and I didn't like how it looked. I ended up doing these stripes or strips up there, but then I had all of these pieces left because I changed my mind, and so what I did is I put them on the back so that it's not so boring, so it's not just a boring sheet on the back. I used up these pieces here that I had left over because I changed my mind. But anyway, so that's the quilt project I'm working on. And what I really love about this quilt is that it's just so cuddly, and I think it's a nice quilt, and I want to keep it, but I won't. But anyway, so if you want to learn to quilt, I'd be happy to teach anyone that wants to quilt. I only charge just your friendship is all I want. I wouldn't charge any money, of course. You could just bring your supplies and I'll help you quilt if you want to. But anyway, thanks for watching, and come visit me sometime. See you later. Bye.